Ask yourself, can they go again? You ask yourself right off the bat. I don't know, should we jump into champions or should we just kind of segue? We'll get to that. How do you want
No, I think since we're already at it, we're just gonna look at the teams that are gonna be challenging for the title.
Okay.
And I feel like let's just start with Liverpool. You know, I'm a Man United fan in the Prem. They are my team, but I'm not gonna look at Liverpool like from that standpoint. I'm gonna look at it just from as an outside from an outside perspective. And Liverpool, the last Premier League title they won before last season was in 1920, right?
Yeah, COVID season, yeah.
Yes. 2021 didn't go well for them. Obviously, injuries hampered them. And yeah, they've been challenging for the title, been having dips here and there. But I look at Liverpool's team, they're not giving me dynasty vibes, bro. They're not. I don't want to go off this prediction of vibes, but like, I'm just looking at their team and I don't know. I'm looking at players like Van Dijk and Salah. Do you think those guys are like team players that can lead like dynasties, back to back teams?
Okay.
Like if we're looking at Haaland, that City for the, I think it was the 3-peat.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the 3-peat.
No, I think it was the quad. They won. He
won
fourth.
The fourth one was the one where they just won the league.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry.
The fourth one, yeah. Looking at Rodri, a Ballon d'Or winner. He won the Ballon d'Or. Why is there a Ballon d'Or? He won the Ballon d'Or. You're looking at KDB, bro. Yeah. You're looking at Diaz. Sure. You're looking at, and I'm looking at Liverpool right now, and I'm like, okay, they are the strongest team in the league, but can they go back to back? That's my question. Yeah.
Obviously, again, they've won 2 Premier Leagues in the past 20 years, so 30 years to be fair. So there's not a lot to go off of, but they looked very good the beginning of last season.
Yeah.
And I think that boded It boded very well for them. Yeah. When they petered off towards the end of last season, it didn't affect them because they had such a great start. The first half of 2020, 24-25 season was so good that it didn't. So obviously I'm wondering this season with the reinforcements that they've brought in, will it be enough?
Yeah.
I think for me, again, the people that they've brought in, Hugo Ekitike, great signing. Jeremy Frimpong, great signing. Milos Kerkez, great signing. And of course, the centerpiece, the cherry on top, who I feel like might just take the reins from Mohamed Salah as being the guy. That being Florian Wirtz.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't count them out, man. I think even just we got a sneak preview in the Community Shield on Sunday, and you're just like, they look fluid. They look like a fluid attacking threat. They've only been playing with each other for less than a month now.
Yeah.
But they do seem like they're understanding one another, which is interesting to see. But obviously, defensively, I do feel like, again, that may be a big problem because they didn't buy anyone from... Obviously, their backline seems pretty assured. They lost Trent, but they have Conor Bradley. Jeremy Frimpong is there as well, but obviously we don't know him. He's not really known for his defensive work rate.
And he's a wing-back.
And he's more of a wing-back as well, so obviously we don't know how that'll work out. And I think Van Dijk, Van Disney, we know. Obviously, he's still one of the best centre-backs in the world. We can't take that away from him. But, I don't know. As to whether they can go back to back,
I don't know. I feel like that defense, also in midfield, dog. Wirtz is coming in. And you have Gravenberch at the 6.
Sure.
McAllister at the 8. Who's playing the 10? That's obviously Florian Wirtz. And that means Zoboszlai is getting sacrificed. And he put in a lot of work in terms of his work rate.
His work rate. I'd say that's something. Obviously, Florian Wirtz, he's someone in terms of, from an attacking point of view, on the ball, he's magnificent. He finds spaces, so he won't. From that point, I don't think he's going to struggle. But obviously, from a systematic point of view, he's going to leave a lot of space open.
Yeah.
Because
not saying it doesn't work.
He does. But I'm just obviously compared to Soboszlai. Soboszlai, he's a runner. He's an absolute machine. He's an engine. So in comparison to that, obviously, on his slot, depending on how he's able to work that out in the sense of, that there's going to be a lot of games where you're just going to be like, there's a lot of space that's going to be exploited. Crystal Palace did an excellent job exploiting that very same space that we were talking about. So as to whether I feel like they can go back to back, I'm gonna agree with you. I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I don't think that, which is gonna be a bit controversial. I know. I do but I don't know. I just feel like the glitz and glamour of it all. I think they will do well. I think they will be in the conversation.
Top three, definitely.
They might even push it they might push it all the way.
Yeah.
As to whether they do it, I'm not really sure.
I have concerns defensively. That's my only, and also in midfield too. But looking at their challenges, bro, I know Arsenal, obviously, the 3-peat second place. Mikel Arteta removing the
phase is he?
Removing the tunnel at the stadium, trying to create atmosphere. The tifos, you know, Arsenal have been the joke of the top teams in the Premier League.
I like how you just said that. So it's like they've just.
But they just
to be fair,
been.
yeah, they have.
They just have.
I think, and again, because they've been the architects of their own downfall a lot of the time, and I think even last season, shame, I'd say it really didn't feel like much of a title charge. Yeah. Obviously, they did well in the Champions League, so credit to them for that. But this is really what they've been gunning for the longest time, and you ask yourself again, could this be the year? Does two become one?
Victor Gyökeres might be. I think exactly what they need. Everyone has been saying Arsenal needed a needy striker. Arsenal needed a needy striker. They signed Kai Havertz. They tried to Gabriel Jesus. None of those guys are like
They're not go-getters. They're not
like
bagsmen.
A Haaland or a Salah.
They're not bagsmen.
Clearly, you need to win the league in the Premier League.
You need those types of players for the KG those 1-1 games at Molineux, and you need someone to just kind of just in that position, attacking third, boom.
Yeah.
You know, those few games right there, because I'd say they've done well against top six.
Yeah.
Arsenal in particular. It's always those other games against the smaller teams that they always tend to stumble on.
Yeah.
Unnecessary draws, weird losses, you know, random weird losses at the Emirates. So, but I think again, the foundation that they've built up from the past 3 years, defensively, they're very resolute.
I think the best defensive team in the league.
I can, definitely. I'd say, from a midfield point of view, adding Martin Zubimendi is also probably going to be another, you know, notch in your feather in your cap in the sense of that's a really good player to add on to what you have there with Declan Rice, with Martin Odegaard. Hopefully, obviously now Declan Rice kind of growing his own as this more box-to-box number 8 role, and obviously Martin Odegaard didn't have the best season last year, but we know what he can do. He's a quality player.
He has the most non-penalty goals in a season for a midfielder. Wow. 15.
Wow. So obviously we know that he has done that. We know that he can do that, and from that back line, I think that one we know that it's fine. As I ask again, can that 2 become a 1 this season for you?
I feel like Saka and Gyökeres have something this season, bro.
Okay.
I feel like Saka, he's basically like sort of like a new player in the team because he missed a chunk of last season.
Yeah, a massive chunk. Yeah.
He missed. I think the second half of the season he only came back.
I think he was gone for like 4 months from like December going into like the March, April. Like he came back towards the latter stages. But again, you know, by that
he's fresh, he's fit. World Cup next year. Obviously he'll want most of the players will want to be at the top level, bro. And I'm looking at them in midfield. Control, Zubimendi, physicality, Declan Rice, creativity. Martin Odegaard. You have a focal point now. A threat in goal, bro. Victor Gyökeres. Yes, striker stat pad in the Portuguese league. That's known.
You won't get as much space in the Premier League, which is true,
This bagsman in the Champions League, bro. That's probably the highest level in European club football. Champions League, he's been scoring goals. You have Bukayo Saka, who has been one of the most consistent players in the league. Top 3 players in the league right now. Madueke, I don't know about that.
Bit of a weird one. But again, I think the depth, maybe, you know, the few games, those like rotational games, he could, you know, because he has shown that he can be quality on his day.
I think this should be the season that Trossard, you know, cements himself maybe in that left-wing position, because him, Martinelli and Madueke, you're expecting them to compete there. But I feel like Arsenal have a complete squad, no guard to provide depth in midfield
and leadership as well. A good base of leadership and experience as well.
So I feel like Arsenal have it. I would tip them to be the champions of the Premier League this season.
Okay, all right. No, I'm gonna be a bit boring, and I'm gonna agree with you as well, just because of everything that you said, and also just because I would imagine in that camp that Arsenal camp, they know the jokes. They know that they're the laughing stock. Every season, they're just like, we're going to do it, we're going to do that. And you just know 3-peat of second place. We know, longest time as number 1 and didn't win the league, you know. And you're just like, this should be the season where they just kind of say, no more nonsense, no more dilly-daddling. We're going to do this. Like, we're absolutely going to do this. And I'm going to give them the credit. I'm going to give Arteta whatever plan that he has. They've looked good so far, but it's still early days. But I'm also just gonna, I'm gonna be a bit boring. I'm gonna agree with you. I think Arsenal are gonna win the Premier League.
So I think we've decided that the top 2 is obviously gonna be Arsenal and Liverpool.
For sure, 100%.
But that top 3 and 4, I feel like Chelsea and City, it's much closer than we think.
Funny enough, I feel like going into the season, a lot of the conversation seems to be those 4 teams being in and around, having like a chance of winning the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'd say obviously Man City, and Chelsea winning the Club World Cup has really now made people just sit up and say, okay, you guys are not that, the team that finished 10th. You're not that team anymore. You guys clearly have a solid base, have a good squad, have good experience, and you know how to win. You've won 2 trophies in like 2 months, which is you can't scoff at that. Yes, you beat who you play. So I think in terms of 3rd spot, I'd say I'm gonna give it to City. I think City probably. It's funny how a lot of people last year when we were doing predictions, everyone was saying Man City are gonna go again, they're gonna do it again, and obviously everything happened. But I think now, because Rodri, unfortunately, he's gonna be out for the first 2 months of the season until the next international break. So, and obviously we saw how much he was needed. But obviously towards the end of last season, they kind of figured out how to get that form again so that they were able to qualify for Champions League. And this year, I'm just thinking to myself, they've bought a lot of good players, to be fair. I think, right, Tijani Rangers, who looks incredible. I think that double pivot with him and Rodri will be very interesting to see. If Rodri can come back soon enough, we might have to have a conversation. Because I think, again, Tijani, as someone who watches Serie A and is a fan of AC Milan, I know what he brings. And I can see even the few things a lot of the City fans are saying from a technical point of view, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's excellent. He's a worker. And then from an attacking point of view, I think he's going to be very interesting.
Goals. He has output.
Obviously, Ryan Nuri, another player, in terms of from that, I'd say filling up that,
left back.
That
they haven't had a natural left back in a while.
I'm being honest, hey. They have not really had a natural left back in this reign of Pep Guardiola. Has he really had? Because obviously you have these makeshifts, Zinchenko's here or there. Obviously, I'd say even Benjamin Mendy, even when he was available, he was not really a start because he was just not playing. Yeah. And I think this could be the first time you could have like a solid, and I'm just thinking on that left side, Ryan Nuri and most probably Jeremy Doku, maybe?
Might be Rodrigo because they're interested in shipping off Savino and getting
This is the transfer window aspect of just like we don't know what's going to happen because the transfer window closes in end of 1st of September. So there's still a lot of time. A lot of deals could happen. But I'd say for me, just as we're recording this right now, I do feel like the defensive, frailty of City might be something. I think
especially with Rodri out at the side.
Rodri out at the side, and I think again from the back line as well. I think Ruben Diaz is not the player of the season from 2021. I'd say John Stones is not fit, barely fit most of the time.
Kanji.
I'd say Emmanuel
Kanji.
Like a
50 million player.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I think that's going to be something. Obviously, Pep Guardiola, never count him out. We could be saying all of this. They go on a freaking tear, 15 games. We know what they're capable of.
Yeah.
It's still the same core of the players that won the treble 2 seasons ago. So, but I still feel like maybe I don't know, they haven't addressed the areas that they probably should have.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'd say probably they're third.
Do you think moving Guardiola into centre back with Ruben Diaz would form another partnership? Because those partnerships were key in the Pep title winning teams.
My thing is, now that I say it, actually, now that I'm thinking, if anything, I'd say Josko, he played well at left back because he has a great attacking threat, but also because he wasn't. A lot of times he was exposed at that left back position because obviously left back needs you to kind of be a bit more. So obviously at centre back, maybe him playing there will hide a lot of those weaknesses defensively because a lot of like poor goals, especially like those weird like the game against Brighton, games against like where you caught lapsing in concentration, even against us. He was just So I don't know. That one is going to be interesting. Obviously, when he was highly touted at the World Cup, he was playing in that like more center back role with Croatia. So we know he can play it. He did play it before. So I'd say I'm interested to see. I don't know how it's going to pan out, but overall, I'd say I think they'll be good enough. They will have a good season. They will score a lot of goals. I think maybe it won't be as bad as last season. I don't see them going on a 9-game losing run. I think that was just an anomaly of itself. And Pep is married again, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like Pep, like he's married.
Back.
He's got a mustache. Like he's looking. You know, it's looking a bit shaky. But
I feel like they're going through some sort of transition right now in terms of they're also changing their playing style. He poached Klopp's former assistant manager, and he saw from the World Cup. They're moving away. The whole league is sort of moving away from the possession-based football.
That was like kind of, I'd say the early 2000s and like late, maybe I would say like from 2018 to like 2022. That was really like everyone was doing the inverted thingy.
Only Klopp had this gegenpressing thing, but seems like Klopp's influence has lasted longer than Pep's influence in terms of like English football. You know, it's all about physicality, the fast-paced tempo and intensity. Maybe that's the reason why the league is more like. I feel like when I'm watching a Bundesliga game, when I'm watching like the Premier League right now, in terms of it's fast-paced.
I mean, to be fair, the Premier League is a very fast-paced league. Yeah. We've known, but I'd say now, in the sense of outwardly, teams are going out of their way. Yeah. Very high pressing, very hot and heavy. You know, so I'd say, and again, it's interesting to see players like Ryan Cherky, players who, from a technical point of view, brilliant. Yeah. But obviously, will he be able to keep up with the league? Because we know that on his day, he can genuinely be one of the most talented and most lethal players in that team. So if he can be able to kind of keep up with that pace and just kind of be able to, in the sense of, we see how they're playing so far now. But I don't know. I'd say
I'm looking at it and I'm like, maybe Pep is also trying to find a new way in like finding a hybrid of this like possession-based football that he has mastered. Maybe it's the same way Flick has there at Barcelona.
Fair enough.
But I'm looking at Chelsea, bro. The Club World Cup, the world champions right now. Bro, they even have it there in the entrance. What a shameless club, bro.
Champions of the world.
Pre-season,
no, but you can't even call them shameless. They are the champions of the world. They went to the competition. They played the games. They played the teams that were in front of them, and they won the competition.
Right? Fair
exactly.
Play. But I'm looking at them. They are the surprise package in terms of title race.
But
I'm seeing a Cole Palmer goes for 4 months in the league. I'm seeing João Pedro at Brighton on and off. We still have question marks on how he do in terms of being in a team that's better, has better quality around him.
And defensively as well.
Yeah.
Defensively, I'd say Reece James is available now, but how long will he be available?
He's the captain.
And he's the captain as well. Losing Levi Colwill, who I'd say is probably the best defender at the team. He's out with an ACL, unfortunately. So now, obviously, that's also another because now at this current moment in time, your two centre backs are, obviously Gerald. They just bought Gerald Hotto, so that
he still has to adapt.
He still has to adapt in terms of new league, but obviously he seems like a big. Obviously, he can play left back and he can also play centre back. But I'd imagine, in terms of right now with the Levi Colwill injury, he might just be that thing. Obviously, Trevor Chalobah, who's really grown into his own impressively. He's been a really good, solid part of that back line.
Yeah.
And obviously now I'm just thinking, with the Kukurea that side and Reece James, and even just like the fact that they have a massive squad.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Jeremy Gittins, he looks proper. Estevao, we saw him at the Club World.
Yeah.
I'd say didn't light up the Club World Cup. He did show in instances, but you could see what he can bring, and obviously even the few friendly games that he's played, you can tell that the technical ability is there.
Yeah.
Liam Delap, obviously. Who else am I missing? Pedro Neto, as well. I'd say they've got a plethora of talent.
Yeah. James Gittins.
And I mean the fact that as of right now, they might just bring two players. Javi Simmons, Alejandro Garnacho.
Yeah.
That could. It's Chelsea are a weird team, man. They just it really just a weird team in the sense of they look like a team who genuinely could go and just like absolutely run amok in every competition they're in. And then some games they play and you're just like, but what happened? And I think that's I like the word you use, surprise package, in the sense of they could really surprise us in the sense that by December they could be top of the table.
Yeah.
Or by December they could probably be in around 6th or 5th.
But I still look at them as like a knockout team. They've proven that in knockout games, in one-off games, they can come up with a game plan, knock you out, and win convincingly.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, this is a marathon, bro. 38 games, bro, in the Premier League. Can Chelsea have that stretch of 10 games, 7 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, and then go on and do it again? The next 10 games, 7 wins, 3, maybe like 2 losses and 1 draw during those periods. And if Palmer can just get himself performing at a consistent level throughout the season, the same way he has, I think when they finished 10th, he was that for the team. If he can get back to that, I feel like he gives Chelsea a much bigger chance. But for now, I feel comfortable putting them 4th.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
And okay, so we have our champions, we have the rest of the top 4.
Yeah.
Obviously now we kind of move on to
European places. Yes. I feel like
we don't really have to dive too deep into this one. I think obviously I'd say 5th and 6th, 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. Obviously, I do pick United to have a good season. I don't think we're gonna finish 15th, but I do think obviously we've recruited well.
Yeah.
And I think Mbeumo, Cunha, Sesko so far.
Yeah.
Are like the could probably be the trio that could, because we scored 44 goals last season.
Yeah.
United scored 44 goals, which is the lowest in ever. So in like a bajillion years. So now, I know we're gonna improve in that regard. I think defensively we were not horrible. We were just like not great at certain points.
Yeah.
And obviously another team that is in the market for another few players. Obviously, as of right now, Colours, Baleba. Are you a Baleba?
Yeah.
He could be, if he comes, if we're able to get that over the line.
Yeah.
That changes the complexion. Not completely, but obviously, I'd say I do see us probably finishing. I'd say Man United. I'd say probably 6th.
Yeah.
I'd say 6th is fair. Probably 5th. What do you?
Fifth looks. I don't know, cause fifth place right now. I'm looking at Aston Villa. I'm looking at Newcastle, but Newcastle have a lot of
there's a lot going on.
No, so Super Cup performance, yes, Spurs tells me that Thomas Frank,
I was actually gonna say in terms of a team that could surprise us. I think top Spurs could, because they finished 17th, so they had a worse season than us. So.
Yeah.
But I rate Thomas Frank highly. I think he's a very brilliant manager. I think the squad that Tottenham have, even though they have a lot of injuries off the bat, Kulusevski's out, Solanke's out.
Yep.
Sonaldo he's left, he's gone. So that's also another big hole that you're probably gonna need to fill up. James Maddison as well, another player. But just from what we saw, obviously they bottled the top Spur. But obviously, what we saw in that first half against the PSG, who we could still say probably are the
best team in the world.
Best team in. Well, they're not. Chelsea's the best team in the world. Come on,
Chelsea are the champions of the world. PSG is the best team.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd say I'd say probably I'm gonna give it to Spurs and United. Probably then the other spots maybe I could say Villa
or Newcastle.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Or Newcastle. Relegation. I feel like it's been standard procedure in the Premier League. Get promoted. Straight back. I feel like maybe Sunderland.
But they got Granit Xhaka though.
I'm saying maybe Sunderland.
Or maybe because I push. Okay, yeah. I'm being facetious. I like how everyone is saying because they got Granit Xhaka, and now all of a sudden they're gonna be in the Premier League as if like he was.
Nah, but Simon Adingra too.
I was about to say they've actually made a lot of pretty like good signings. They've sold a lot of like their players from last season, like obviously Joe Bellingham.
Yeah.
But they do have like they've spent well. I'd say they've spent the most out of the promoted teams actually. But yeah, I think for me relegated teams off the bat, Leeds. I think they're out of here. Sorry. Burnley, they were defensively resolute in the championship, but you're not in the championship anymore. Yeah, I think you. I think Scott. What is Scott Parker?
Yeah.
The last time we saw him in the Premier League, he was throwing his team under the bus. After a 9-0 loss at
Fulham
Anfield.
nearly. Was it Fulham?
Bournemouth.
Oh yeah.
He was at Fulham and then he went to Bournemouth.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I think game week 2 got smashed 9-0.
9-0.
And he was like, the board hasn't backed me. And I'm just like, hey, well, this guy. So obviously he did well in the Championship.
Yeah.
But again, it's the Championship. The Premier League and the Championship, we can tell now, is a massive gap in quality.
Yeah.
Because I think if you winning the Championship and you going to the Premier League, you're just the 21st best team in England.
Yeah.
And I think now it's shown. But for my other relegated team, I'm actually going to say Brentford. Why I say so? They've lost a lot from last season. They've been a team that have kind of worked in the sense of, I'd say they kind of fit that Crystal Palace mold of like, they're always a team that, they're a tough team to play. They're not the best team, but they on their day, they have quality players, individual players who win them games. And the fact that they've lost Brandon Bremo, they've lost their manager, Thomas Frank. And Johan Wissa seems like he's on strike at the moment. Doesn't seem like he wants to stay. I don't know. I just feel like that's a lot of change to like, and I mean the manager as well, very young. Don't know a lot about him at the moment. But, I don't know. I'd say that's my big controversy. I think Brentford are going to get relegated this season.
I think I might just agree.
Okay.
But I just feel like it's Wolves now.
Okay.
Wolves
another team.
Yeah.
They also lost. They also lost a lot of. I'd say they lost obviously Matthias Cunha and Ryan Aiden-Uri, 2 players who were very integral to a lot of their success.
Yeah.
Alongside obviously they've kept Strand Larsen.
Yeah.
And the like, but I mean I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
I feel like this is gonna be one of the best Premier League seasons. Obviously, it's gonna be better than last season. Looking at the signings that are coming in, the moves that the teams are making, especially at the top end of the table. I feel like we're in for a great season in England, bro.
Quickly, player of the season for you, off the bat.
Player of the season.
Who do you think is going to be the player of the season? Obviously, that's going to be dependent on who we've said is going to win the Premier League for you. Who do you
Bukayo
think?
Saka.
Oh.
Bukayo Saka.
Okay, I was going to give it to Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
I think if we're pipping Arsenal to win the Premier League, that means that he's going to be all over it.
Yeah.
Because that means he's going to be pipping in the goals. And I think the fact that Arsenal have always had this question mark because of the striker. They have their striker.
Yeah.
And I think if they can just provide service for him, I think he can be an absolute. I think it's going to be him and Haaland.
Yeah.
Going band for the top goal scorer.
True.
So, yeah, I think that's the Premier League done and dusted.
Really, I just want to check.
Sure.
We have enough time, G.